Hello, I'm Oral Gibbs, and welcome to Oral Gibbs Live. When I come back, you'll meet my guest on this very interesting program right here in Oral Gibbs Live. Windward Islands Bank in three locations: Simpson Bay, Cul-de-sac, and in Phillipsburg. The Windward Islands Bank for all your banking needs is the Windward Islands Bank and GEBE Local Water and Electricity Company. GEBE serving St. Martin for over 6 decades. It's GEBE. And with me today on Oral Gibbs Live, I have no stranger to us, Dr. Mercelina. Dr. Mercelina is leader of a new political party, the
URSM.
Yes,
the URSM.
and that stands for
The Unified Resilient St. Martin Movement.
so Unified Resilience St. Martin Movement. You've been now operational for how long?
Actually, the 10th of October coming, it will be our anniversary, first anniversary. We have launched this party in October 10, 2021. That is symbolically on Constitution Day.
Right.
And we wanted to symbolically inaugurate our party on Constitution Day. And the 10th of October 2022 will be exactly a year ago that we started with this political movement, the Unified Resilient St. Martin Movement, the URSM.
So, it looks like we're going to have elections very soon.
You know, Arl, there is a lot going on in the political arena of St. Martin. More than only a election that I think will be sooner than later. I think that if we look back in the past 12 months, years, since we decided to start it with this Unified Resilient St. Martin movement, if we look at the developments that took place on the political arena, in the political arena of St. Martin, we realize that it only justifies the reason why we decided to start with this URSM. Actually, Aris, I would like to have new elections for countries. A lot of people cannot wait for this momentum, because I think the more we wait, the more the next government will have more bigger challenges to put this country back on track.
Really? Why you say that?
Because first of all, if we look back what has been going on in this country, Oral, we are now in a phase of what they say in Spanish, decadencia total in the political arena of St. Martin. Or if you look back in what is going on in this country, there is hopelessness, there is a country in crisis, there is a crying socio-economic status of this country, this particular moment. And if you see the level of moving of the politicians on the floor of parliament, I think this is a disgrace for the people of this country. And you know, Aris, recently we had a whole development on the parliament floor concerning, for example, the cancelling of a public meeting by the president of parliament due to the fact that there were some personal issues to be cleared.
Right.
Can you imagine nowadays that members of parliaments are going to the radio, as we have been following the developments last week, to see that now, instead of the members of parliament and the politicians, that they make use of the media to explain the people of this country what is going on with this country. Where are we standing with the reconstruction of the airport? Where are we with the construction of our new general hospital? Where are we standing with its 12.5% that everybody is talking about? Where are we standing with our education system for this young country, St. Martin? Instead of talking, discussing, informing the people about the critical issues that is making this country what it has to be, we are using the media at this particular moment to go and inform the people who is fighting with who in government and who has rights and who doesn't, and show each other letters. And I think this is a total disgrace for the people of this country that politicians do believe that at this particular moment it justifies them to go on the radio and start defending themselves concerning personal challenges that they have in their relationship with their colleagues in parliament. But Aurel, where are we going with this country? There was at a certain moment in a radio program an interviewer that asked the president of parliament, doesn't she find it worrisome that at the moment that in a public meeting they're going to decide about this 12.5% for the civil servants of St. Martin, that she is adjourning a meeting instead of trying to make it happen for us to serve the people of this country? Her answer is that yes, but she has to clarify and defend her integrity. Do you really think that the level of taking care of the business of the people of this country at this particular moment is go to the radio and instead of informing the people about the general issues of this country, they are using these opportunities to think that they have to defend their integrity? Aurel, the moment you are in parliament, integrity is a must. Transparency is a must. The moment you think now, being a member of parliament, that you have to go to the radio to defend your integrity, I think we are losing the purpose of the organization, the institution, parliament for a democratic country like St. Martin.
You know, Doctor, a lot of people are not really aware of the magnitude of the problems we are confronted with right now as an island.
Yes. Aurel, we are losing this country. We are sliding hill off at this particular moment with this country, and I will tell you why. We are now in a phase that is showing that we have failed with this country. And you know why, Aurel? Because of actually three things that we never did for this country or actually neglected for country St. Martin. The first is our education. And if we talk about education, Aurel, I'm talking with you not only about the institutional education of the school institution, but what we failed on is the home education. Aurel, you can give somebody a technical institutional education. You can give this person a diploma at the end of the program. Right. If this does not go with a second certificate that has been handed out by your parents, you are going to be doomed to fail. And that is not what is happening in this country. You see that most of the community does not have an appropriate, decent home education. And Aurel, you know why? Because we have failed also in our socio-economic status. The poverty is controlling our society. So there are not even parents at home waiting for the kids when they come from school because they are challenged, because they need to adhere to the necessities of the finance to make it happen for the household. So these parents are working constantly. The kids come from school. There is nobody to supervise and guide them. And on the other side, we as a government, as a society, are not taking care of after-school activities for the youth. So everybody is doing whatever they want. We are losing the youth. And then all of a sudden we see developments in our country and we think, hey, but what is happening in this country? And now we see exactly what is going on because we have failed on level of family education with our children. We have failed with education as such in our country, and we did not safeguard our social welfare for our country. And if you combine the three of them with also an immigration that is overflowing with illegals, we are going to get a country that is going to be in chaos, and it's going to fail to be a productive country that can offer prosperity to the next generation.
But it looks like we just can't get nothing done right. Look at the airport. Look at JP. I mean, you go on and on.
Aurel, we are talking about an autonomous St. Martin. That is the status that we have now in the Charter of the Kingdom and also in our Constitution. If we want to be an autonomous country, exactly the government-owned companies they have to be at place. They have to be functional, they have to be powerful, because if you have a country without telecommunication, without an airport, without a harbor, without a utility company, without education, these are the 5 pillars that is a must to make a autonomous country a full-fledged autonomous country. You need that, and you see that exactly the 5 pillars that we need, being those government-owned companies combined with a failing education system, that is going to make, of course, that we are going to be very unsuccessful with this country, and that is already what you are seeing in this particular phase with this country. And I'm very worried, I'm very concerned with St. Martin, and that is the reason that we came with this Unified Resilient St. Martin movement, because we want to offer the people of St. Martin new opportunities, great options to give other type of people with a totally different vision and concept how you should govern a country the opportunity to give them the mandate to take care of the business of the people of this country.
You know, Dr. Mercelina, in April of this year, I had you here on this program.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I asked you, because I listened to you, and I can identify with what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
But there are people who are saying, hey, look around. There's a lot of construction, a lot of buildings going up. We have all the beautiful mega yachts in the lagoon. Things are looking great. What the hell is Dr. Mercelina complaining about?
Dr. Mercelina is complaining for the developments that are not taking place for the people of this country. All developments that we see now going on are not developments that directly is going to improve the general condition of the people of this country. Oral, I challenge you. Invite me in your car, let's go and make a drive around in this country and stop by a project that is giving hope for a prosperous future of this country. Where are you going to stop with me to show me a tangible project going on that is going to contribute to the development of this country? I'm going to talk, you want to stop with me by the airport? Now we are a development that we're going to put tents now after 5 years for the airport.
We're going backwards.
You want to go with me to GB? Let's see what is going on in GB. You want to go with me to the hospital? I'm from the hospital. I can tell you what is going on with the construction of the new general hospital. There is nothing going on that will contribute essentially to the development of this country, that you see construction going on, that is in the private sector. But the poor people and the 30% of our populace lives under the poverty norm. All this construction that is going on here will not touch the quality of life of this 30%. And it's time that we're going to take the poor people with less chance, that have always stand last in the row in this community, for us to lift them up, help them to put them at least in the middle of the waiting row that they have been participating in, being the Society of St. Martin.
You know, I remember the first time I interviewed you, you were a young medical doctor here in St. Martin.
Yes.
And you was very passionate about your work. I remember you telling me about being a surgeon and having to take care of young people that came in with gunshot wounds, and how different.
Of course.
And your passion for that. And I'm seeing the same passion today for politics with you.
Arnold, is a good statement. I have been a surgeon operating individuals in this community, young or old, heavy or thin, skinny, all types, poor or rich. It's time now for this surgeon to go over and operate the country St. Martin. I have proven as a professional that I can operate individuals. Now it's time for the people to give me the mandate, Oral, for me to show them that we will be able to operate this community. This St. Martin now is in the intensive care department, so actions has to be taken if we want to save this country. I feel and I'm convinced that we need a new type of leadership for this country that can take decisions, lead the country, lead by example, and try to accelerate the prosperity of this country. That is where we have to go with this country now. And at this particular moment, there is no leading by example. Look the behavior to our politicians. This country has a government with no vision, stands up in the morning, they take pragmatic decision, waiting for the next file to come on their table. Instead of governing this country, they're sitting and governing the government building, and we are losing touch with the context that we have to create to promote this country, to make it a great country for all of us. That is what we're missing.
What bothers me is that I just finished doing an interview with one of the large labor union leaders on the island, and he complained all through that interview that there's no dialogue with the government and the labor unions. And he also pointed out how in the former Nelson Tilly's Curacao St. Martin's it was different. There was that respect and government will meet with you. He said, now it's absolutely nothing.
Arnold, first of all, we have to make all partners inclusive if we want to be successful with this country. St. Martin cannot be only successful if I be part of the investment in it. All stakeholders have to be involved in this process. If we don't do that, we are not going to get through with this country. That's why I call the political movement a unified Resilient St. Martin movement. It's about unification now. It's not that the one has the power and call the shots. We have to do it with all partners and with all stakeholders. If we don't do that, we are not going to be successful with this country. So we will have to shake up ourselves. We have to wake up. We have to have a total different approach in governing this country if we want to be successful. But the problem is, at this particular moment, there is no vision. We don't know what we want with education with this country. We don't have an idea how we're going to tackle our threatening immigration at this particular moment. Because with this immigration, we are importing poverty in this country. The people that come illegal to this country, nothing against them. They have their contribution to the economy of St. Martin too. But it's not the teachers and the dentists and those that can contribute in a high-level way to this country. At this particular moment, we have an insufficiency in our human resources, in our professional treasury to help our country. So if we don't get these people on the island and continue to have only the poor people that come illegal to this country, we're going to get a disbalance in this community. And not that I'm against no illegal, don't misunderstand me, Oral, but at a certain moment, if the group of the lower class is too huge, the community, the society cannot carry that. And that is the disbalance that we have now in this particular moment with this country. We have to be honest.
Dr. Mercelina, in 1984, I started Speaking of Everything, television program that I've had you on that same show. And my fifth guest was in March of 1980, April of 1984. Was Mr. Jack Ferris. He was then the Minister
of Education.
Right.
Of course, Jack Ferris. Yes.
Fine gentleman.
Yes, very nice,
had
great person.
Great ideas and everything else. There was always this constant fight between the central government and the government of St. Martin in terms of education. Let's fast forward now. So 10, 10, 10, and now 2022. And we're hearing the same thing. It's like there's no clear-cut ideas or vision or path or education in that.
But you know what is happening now? In the past, we failed to do what we had to do. But then we could say to the people of this country, it's Curacao that is overruling us in our decision. Now you see the same trend. Curacao is not more in it. But now you see that they're not getting through because there is no vision. And now they're throwing it. It's the Dutch that is doing it for them. So it's the Dutch that is giving them the resistance for St. Martin not to get the adequate development that it deserves. That is not the case. all the social local problems that we have in St. Martin, we have to assume our responsibility and try to solve them. Oral, on all levels, we are failing on the level of education in this country. We are failing in the mental health care for our country. Look, these poor people hanging on the streets of St. Martin. We drive along them nowadays. It's like furniture in the street. We know them already. We don't even turn our head more to look at them. I think that these are scary developments for the mentality of our people, that things that are unacceptable start to become the norm for society, that we don't even care anymore about our mentally challenged people on the street of this country. Oral, it's time to wake up. I'm telling you, if the people don't make the right decision in the upcoming election, we are going to lose our country. Or I'm very worried about this in Martin at this particular moment.
I feel the same way. And when you look at mental health, the Mental Health Foundation is doing an excellent job. And the warning is on the wall. They're saying there are over 1,000 mentally ill persons on the island in different levels.
Yes.
But for a small island like St. Martin, that's a lot of people.
You know why, Oral? Because we are living under too stressy circumstances of poverty. Oral, people don't have a clue what is going on in this country with poverty and stress of the poor people. I see them in my room every day. As I many times say, in my room you see the real story of St. Martin, because the neighbors are not there, right. The family, other family members are not, so they can tell you the truth of their life experience. Oral, there is a lot of poverty going on in this country, and people are functioning now under stressy circumstances, and we have to try to help the people of this country now. But I have the impression that the government is not realizing how severe the condition of the society is at this particular moment. But we have to wake up and for sure try to do something with this country, because we are losing it at this particular moment. And I do not have and get the impression that the politicians that are sitting in the key positions in government are really realizing what is going on in this community. I think there is a disconnect between the reality of St. Martin and the perception of the people in government in this country.
I think too is because we are such good people and we try to cover up all our problems. Mm-hmm. So when you look at this island, you think as an outsider that everything is okay. And then you have people in government that tends to pretend that they don't know, mm-hmm. because they know, but they pretend that they don't know. And so you have this problem where today now, we have a lot of people. You mentioned a number. I think it's even higher than the 30% that you mentioned.
I think it's 30, yes. But statistically, it's 1 out of 3. It's a lot.
Yeah.
You have a society that poverty dominates in 1/3 of your society. You have a failing society. I can tell you that. Yeah. And that is happening now in this country. And what we see, of course, the cars, the few mega yachts that we see, some construction going on, we think that we are okay. I can tell you the people of this country are suffering at this particular moment.
I had Mr. Marcel Gums here in this program.
Yes.
And he voiced the same concern about the middle classes disappearing and the increase in poverty. So a person like him, a former junior minister, former prime minister of St. Martin, he served as a senator for many years in the former Nelson. He knows what's going on. If he's saying that publicly, imagine.
Yes,
what others.
But you know, we are catching those alarms. I'm sensing them. But the problem is that the government that can make the calls and the decisions are not realizing what is going on in this country. And if you have a society with too much poverty in it, a too high segment of uneducated people that does not even have a secondary school education, with a high unemployment rate and an insufficient education and insufficient healthcare, you are going to become a failure as a society, as a country, and that is what particularly now is happening with St. Martin. And I think partly this has to do with not the right people in the right chair to do the right job. And we have to start talking about that, Oral. We have incapable people constantly that get political nomination, they get chairs, opportunities, and they don't know better, but they want to improve their personal life. They get a little better salary. They go, they sit in that chair, they polarize everything because they don't understand what the work is all about. And all of a sudden moment, you see that there are prominent chairs that are being filled in, but not with the right people to take care of the business of the people of this country. And this has to stop also, Oral. We have to put the right people in the right chair to help contribute to improve the society.
I've been around for quite a while, and I hear members of parliament speaking, and you was a member of parliament.
Yes.
And you're one of the few that sat in parliament that wasn't sitting waiting for that salary.
No.
Because a lot of them want that. They can't survive without that.
Oral, I will tell you something. I thought long about why am I doing this? Because people tell me, Dr. Mercelina, you're a respectable professional. You're okay. You help your patients. They're happy with you. Why do you go in this confusion? Oral, I tell you, sometimes I think to myself, this political arena is a big confusion. I'm telling you, with a lot of intrigues, a lot going on in that world. Mm-hmm. And still, I took the decision that I'm going to do it. Because I do believe that if people like me don't start to interfere with the business of St. Martin, who is going to do it? And on the other side, Oral, this political arena is such a difficult environment that even if you have motivated, educated people or capable people to help you, it's very difficult to motivate them to join you because they do not want to throw their reputation and go and mingle with people that have no clue about morals, about principles, about integrity and values. And you as an educated person sitting there with great values, not only about educational background, but people with great home, parents' education.
Right.
They are not going to go in this political arena because they are very scared about the intrigues that take place in this political arena that has nothing to do with the business of the people. It's pure surviving the chair for the monthly income that they get. I have been there, Oral. I dare to tell you, I thought long about people that has to go in politics. Oral, the first thing, if you want to go in politics, you have to be ready with yourself. And then people think, he's talking here, he thinks about finance. It has nothing to do with finance. It has to do with a mindset that the moment you get that position, you have to work for the people, and everything that passes in front of you is not for you. Right. It's for the people. Decisions are for the people of the country. And the bigger picture is that you are just trying to improve the quality of life of the citizens of St. Martin. But the people that are going in there are people that are confused. They don't know what they're doing. They get a great opportunity to join politics. But Oral, we have a problem in politics too. Eh? If you want to become a pilot in a company, you have to just to manage 300 people in the back in the plane, you have to go through all types of educations and tests and psychological tests before you can manage that plane. Mm-hmm. We go in politics, we're going to manage a country with 60 to 80,000 people. We pass no test, no background check. We just jump in it and we think, hey, we are the man and we're going to call the shots because we are going for a popular contest. And if they choose me, I'm good to go. Politics has nothing to do with a popularity contest. It has to do with what can you do with your potentials, with your credits to help this country. That is where we have to go.
You know, Dr. Mercelina, St. Martin politics is tribal.
Tribal.
And that makes it difficult because if you're not a member of the tribe,
you have a problem. But you know what the problem is here, Oral? We go here and we vote for the wrong reason. And people have to understand it. I ask people, but why do you vote a particular party? Yes, because my grandfather used to vote for them. My father did it too. Traditionally, we vote for that particular party. But why do you do that? No, the tradition is an indication to vote. I do not find that an indication to vote. So, but why do you do? No, because that minister gave me a job. Ah, okay, but is that the reason that you make choices to manage your country? What favors you got on a personal base for you to sympathize with leaders that have to lead your country? I think people are voting in this country for the wrong reason. And I hope now I realize and I feel that the people are waking up. They are saying, I think we are losing our country, and you're going to see a big shift. Arnold, read my lips. You are going to see a big surprise in the upcoming elections because people are realizing now that we have to vote now for the right reason. If we don't do that, we're going to lose our citizenship.
But let me say this: a lot of people, believe me, a lot of people are telling me, as I walk in the street, places, that they're not going to vote anymore. Tell us why you think that's wrong and why they should vote.
Yes. Or I do not think what you tell me. I do believe that people are going to vote this time and not their protest. Their protest is not going to be in showing the system that we are unhappy with the political arena of St. Martin. I think they're going to go for the shift and the change. You see it worldwide. You see, for example, in Grenada recently, a young gentleman got the opportunity to take over the country. You see, for example, on the French side, you see the shift to a change. Now you're going to see it, and I promise you, Arnold, that is going to be the outcome of the next elections. You're going to see the necessity, the hungriness for a change in the political arena, and that is why the URSM is going to do good in the next election.
I think
we have to work on a change for this country.
I think, though, the difference in St. Martin, and I have interviewed, all of the major political leaders in this country, former Antilles, over my 37, 38 years in St. Martin in broadcasting. And people feel a disconnect this time around. The feeling's not the same. It's really, really different now. So all those places you mentioned, yes, St. Martin is a unique case. And St. Martin, we're going to have to, and you and all the others are going to have to convince a lot of people why this time is different than all the other times, because they've been let down so often. Remember, to use the Democrats' phrase in America, the big lie. The big lie was 10, 10, 10. That was the big lie. We were going to walk on streets of gold. Everything was going to be great. 12 years later, we're down in the shithole, to mention it. And you know what? Our people are going lower and lower and lower. So what are we going to do? Where is the leader coming from? What makes it different? Why you, as leader of a political party, can convince the people that tell me they don't want to vote anymore and they're not going to vote, and I know they're not lying, that they should go out and vote.
Yes, I think it's a democratic right. That's the only day in your life, Arnold, that you have the opportunity to make a decision to do something with the quality of your personal life. And I think this democratic system gives you that opportunity, and it would be a pity if you don't make use of this opportunity. But on the other side, Arnold, I can imagine that the people are fed up with these people. I understand that, because if you see the quality of governing level of this country, it's dramatic, it's horrible, it is not what it has to be. So I can imagine the disappointment and the demotivation of the people not to go and vote. But I do believe in this particular time that for voting in the upcoming elections, I really think that the people will go out and vote, but they are going to make a big shift in the choice that they're going to make, because they realize this is the last time, Oral, that there is an opportunity, because further lower than what we are now we cannot get. So the only thing that can happen now is with a good choice that we're going to recatch ourselves and make something out of this country. Oral, I have sleepless night of this country at night. My wife tells me, Luke, you look very worried. And I tell you know why, Oral, if I see what is going on in this country, I envision that I will make the next government. I envision that, but I realize at the same time that the challenges to make it happen, for us to put this country back on track, will not be an easy task. And that's why I want the elections earlier than later, because the more we wait, the more we're going to slide off this hill, and the more difficult it will be to put this country back where it has to be. But with vision, we can do that, Aro.
You know, a lot of voters will come up to you and say, what are you going to do for me? It's
Yes.
always for me.
Yes.
And they want money.
Yes.
And traditionally, the guys with the bigger pockets who can give out $200-$300 get elected.
Mm-hmm.
What are your feelings about that?
You know, Arnold, there's a big challenge, and it's a reality. And my problem that I face every day is that I think about is I want to win a war based on ideology. But I have soldiers that are hungry. But I have to do it with my hungry soldiers. I have to fight an ideology fight with them. And that is going to be a big challenge for me. But one of the other way, with talking a lot, informing the people, and try to make them understand that their improvement is not in the $300 on the day of voting, but it's about the bigger picture that at the end will improve their life. That is what the URSM is trying to explain to people. And people do tell me, Dr. Mercelina, we do not hear a lot about you. When you are talking, you're talking always about proposal, improvement, vision that you have for the country. But Otto, I'm trying every time again to try to explain the people of this country that it's all about the bigger picture that is going to serve the country and improve the country, that at the end of the day, everybody is going to enjoy the prosperity of the country. And that instant satisfaction by throwing $300 on people the next day you wake up after election day. Can you imagine, or you're going to get the nightmare that the day after election, the same two big political parties, the bigger ones historically, are going to form the government again to continue governing this country? I think that is going to be a horror story. So we have now the opportunity in our hands. Let's make use of our democratic right and make another choice to try to save this country.
You know, a lot of people moving to Holland.
A lot, and not even to Holland. You want me to go a step further with you? Teachers now are going to Bonaire because Bonaire is Holland. We are losing in the hospital nurses that are leaving to Bonaire because Bonaire is a best island. We are losing teachers at this particular moment because they don't want to go to Holland, but the conditions are good on the best islands, so they leave. We are losing the small amount of professions that we have because we cannot offer them a stable future. They are choosing to leave us and join the other partners in the kingdom. In this particular situation, it's the best islands or Netherlands, but most of them are going now to Bonaire.
Well, Doctor, I have to go to a break. All right, so when we come back, we're going to continue speaking right here with Dr. Mercelina right here on Oral Gibbs Live. Please stay with us.
In order to know what you want out of life, you need to observe, listen, and try it yourself. Promises, we can make it. If we work together, that's just how it is. Let's stand strong, and serve the land. Working hard as one nation, yes we can. The more difficult it is to achieve, the more satisfying it is to make it. Just believe in us, we'll see you through it all. Oh, never give up. Oh, never give up. We can make it. Never forget those who were there for you. And if you dream big, you might just achieve it. The power to serve, standing for community. OGB got the power to serve, the power to serve. We got
Make use of WIB mobile banking with easy access and direct usage of face recognition, PIN code, or fingerprint. Download WIB mobile banking app and make your transaction from anywhere at any time. For more information, visit wib-bank.net.
My guest on Oral Gibbs Live is Dr. Mercelina, leader of the RSM. I get mixed up with the. You mention it.
Unified Resilient St. Martin Movement, the URSM, the
right.
URSM.
You know, when you look at what's happening, Doctor, I was telling you this during the break. It seems like we've given up as a people.
Otto, what you see as a phenomenon now in St. Martin, that we are losing what we call decorum. We are losing respect. We are losing morals. We are losing principles. We are losing the feeling of shame. For example, I used to remember in times of my father, they used to give each other a handshake.
Right.
You know symbolically what the meaning was of that handshake. Nowadays, you give a person a handshake on a deal. You cannot rely on the guarantee
right.
that handshake is a handshake, because we lost on all fronts the dignity, the respect, the morals, the principle of how to deal with each other. And you know what is going on in this country? What they call in Dutch oral the rechtshandhaving. We do not have no law enforcement anymore. Bus drivers stop where they want to stop. Wrecks are just parked next to the road. Police cars pass there, look at them, and leave them for what it is. We litter the place. Nobody cares. We just maluse the St. Martin, and nobody is correctional to the system. And that is also a part of leadership, to correct the behavior of the citizens of the country. But at this particular moment, even the behavior of the people on the street is of such, even if the person is wrong, you are scary to tell him something, because he's going to make you feel like you are not understanding how the system works in this country.
But the police officers are demoralized right now.
I got recently a police officer in my office. The man had a uniform on, that I think this uniform is a uniform that he is carrying for the last 7-8 years. Yeah. It lost all its colors. You cannot even see the prints on it anymore. Is this the man that has to do the law enforcement for my country? On all fronts, we are losing it in this community. And the problem is, Oral, the politicians do not know better. And that is where I want to go with you. If the ones leading do not realize that something is wrong in this country, it's going to be like, okay, let's go because this is what I'm accustomed to, and this should be normal. It is not normal what is going on in this community. And rechtshandhaving, the law enforcement, has to start again in this country. Otherwise, it's going to be chaos. It's going to call what they call in Dutch anarchie. That means that you don't have rules anymore. And that is what you see now.
Yeah.
Anarchie.
Anarchy.
And then you're going to see that everybody does what they want. They take the law in their hands. They do whatever they want. You become, as a decent citizen, you become scary because you think, they took over the country. And at a certain moment, we have a total chaos in this community. And that is what is going on now.
Well, in case you've just joined us, this is Oral Gibbs Live. My guest is Dr. Mercelina. He's leader of the URSM party, and it's good to have him here in the program with us. And you can also follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Hot 99 FM, so Hot 99.9 FM radio. And we are happy to have you all the time with us right here in Oral Gibbs Live. So, Dr. Mercelina, you're ready if elections are tomorrow?
If elections tomorrow, Otto, we are ready. I have candidates that I'm keeping for some private reasons. I have to protect my candidates now. We are ready. We have a campaign strategy that we are going to move on with. And we have our country plan at place, not only a manifesto that we are working on, but also a country plan. Where do we want to see this St. Martin in 10 years from now? I'm going to give you a few items out of my country plan. I want a development bank for country St. Martin, that the middle class can get a mortgage to purchase a house with a low interest rate from 1.5%, 2%, instead of the commercial banking rate of 7-8%. You really think that a police officer married with somebody working in an administration of an insurance company can have a loan, a mortgage to buy and purchase a house in their life? And it's a dream of everybody. I want a, what they call in Dutch, an ontwikkelingsbank, a development bank for country St. Martin, because I really believe that is going to help the people of St. Martin. I want the second one is I want the U.S. pre-clearance for St. Martin is going to boost the economy. It's going to give political stability in the kingdom. I think it's going to give more activity on the labor market. Business is going to be created by the presence of the U.S. pre-clearance. I do believe that should happen.
Understand the State Department said it's off the table now for St. Martin.
Unfortunately, because we missed the opportunity to jump on this project with vision, with the bigger picture that this is going to really give the economy of St. Martin a boost. Secondly, I want a great national university for St. Martin. We never have worked on the landsverordening for higher education for St. Martin. I dream of a big university for St. Martin with a faculty of medicine, a faculty of law. I want that for my country. I want a, what they call in Dutch, a hoger hotelvakschool.
We need that really bad.
We need it. You really think I have to send my kids to Holland while the tourists here are in abundance in my country? This is the place where you can learn how you have to treat a tourist in your country. So why don't we come with this higher education for tourism in our country? I want a library for country St. Martin. I want a cultural center for country St. Martin. I want to make St. Martin, as you know now, we are experiencing some challenges with our internet. Why don't we make St. Martin an internet hub for the Caribbean? I want to make St. Martin an international redistribution hub for Amazon. Opportunities enough to help the economy instead of only, and we will have to, of course, continue focusing on our tourism, but I think there is more for us to do to help push this country in the right direction.
You know, all great ideas. The people of St. Martin will definitely love to see all those things come through.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
the money. Yeah. Okay. Oral, we are making a mistake. We have been on a golden track in the time of the Netherlands Antilles. We gave up that golden road because we thought Curaçao was the problem for us. We are standing alone now. There is one more golden track and people don't see it, and that's the kingdom. And people are talking now about independence while we are on a golden road in the kingdom. But we have to change the dynamics in the kingdom. And I do believe, as a person carrying a Dutch passport, being part of a rich kingdom, that we can do much better with each other. And I believe that there are some basic human rights. For example, the right on good education, the right of good health care, the situation of prisoner detainees in our country. Why don't we sit with the kingdom partners and try to elevate the level of these institutes in our community, sharing the responsibility, sharing the cost, and sharing the developments that are taking place. And we are not doing that. We are insulting each other the whole day, fighting with each other. Right. And I assure you, for example, now, Ara, we have the IPCO going on now in the Netherlands, the Interparliamentary Kingdom meeting that is taking place twice a year. Right. Oral, do you really think that these parliamentarians went with some documents with some proposal for a bigger vision for country St. Martin? You know, they went there just to fight this coho and that's it, and they come back. But my prison is still in fire. My health care is insufficient for my country. My education is in cry, and my people are crying in poverty. And instead of they making use of this IPCO to step up the plate and improve this country, they're going and fight with the Hollands and try to with Holland and try to convince them for perceptions that they think, come on guys, wake up and let's work on our country.
No one is mentioning SZV.
Yes.
They're in a lot of financial
Problems by the SZV. Yeah. Actually, the SZV is a little like a government-owned company too, I can tell you that. The SZV is a big problem in this country because it's actually the social security of our community. Right. But Arl, this SZV is also in financial problems. I don't know if you can recall that I have sent a minister home because he wanted to construct a hospital with money from the pension fund from St. Martin. I told this minister, don't use pension fund money to build a hospital with, because you're not building a private hospital, you're building a general public hospital. There is no public hospital in the world that is making money except the private hospital. But we are building a public hospital. So the public hospital is going to lose money. It has to be subsidized, and you're going to take money from pensioners to invest in an institution that is going to lose money, and you think that you can promise the people that they invest now in their contribution with the premiums for their pension, and that you will have enough money in 20 years from now to pay them out their pension. I say, Minister, please don't do that. Secondly, I told the minister, please, in the concept that you are working now, don't build that hospital the way you're building it. Or today, people are starting to understand what I did. I had no personal agenda in doing this. People were looking at me, but Dr. Mercelina, what are you doing? And today they are seeing a construction of a hospital that is a failure, that is going to be the financial nightmare of country St. Martin. And now people are understanding why I did that too in that time. But unfortunately, it was too late already. And Otto...
Too late?
Too late.
But if your party get into power,
we will have to turn a lot of things. That's why I tell you, I have nightmares what I will have to do in intervention to save this country. But if the constructors, the ones constructing this hospital, they have a waterproof contract with the government, the tripartite being SZV, the group of the financing the hospital, the government and the hospital, they have a waterproof. You really think they worry that at this particular moment they are slowing down in their pace to continue with the construction? They don't worry. Their contract is waterproof. For them, there is no threat in what is going on. For us, it's a big problem because every day we are losing money with this construction.
So then the lenders are not really too concerned now then?
I don't think that they realize what is going on. And I tell you, Otto, at this particular moment, the way they are constructing this hospital, it's going to become the biggest financial nightmare of country St. Martin. Mm-hmm. Read my lips.
There is a consortium of a number of banks. It's not just one.
No, the Villanova is in it. Yeah. The SZV is in it too. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we invested about 59 million of pension fund money from the SZV. We invested in a hospital. Or if you have that type of money, you have to invest in money-making activities to get revenues to continue paying the continuity of the pensioners that you have an obligation to. But the way we are going with this, this is going to be a big nightmare for country St. Martin.
So where do we go from here?
We go from here. We are going from here to the next elections, Arnold. That is the only solution at this particular moment. We, as the people of St. Martin, have to wake up, and we have one more chance with this country, and that is the upcoming next election. And as the way I said, this is the only opportunity we have for this country. People, I'm looking at you, eye in eye, and asking you, please wake up and make a right choice and mandate the right group of people to take over the government of this country. So you have the opportunity in the upcoming elections, make use of your democratic right and make the right decision for not only you, but also for the next generation.
So Doctor, when you look at this beautiful island, and it is a very beautiful island.
It is.
And I will say it's the best place in the world, with a lot of good things happening still, but we need to turn things around.
Yes, Arnold, you say it nice. It's a beautiful island. But there is another sentence that people use here that I disagree with. They tell me St. Martin is a great island. I don't want to say that yet, because St. Martin is great for a handful of people, but St. Martin is not great for everyone in this country. And the group that is not enjoying the greatness of this country, that is the group that I'm standing for, because I want the totality of the group to say out of their heart that St. Martin is a great place. And we have to do what we have to do to give this group an opportunity to one day say with pride that St. Martin is a great place.
That they can eat cake too.
That they can enjoy the cake too,
Yeah,
of course.
Well, Doctor, it's always a pleasure having you. Have 40 seconds remaining, all yours.
And I would like to thank you for this opportunity. In the name of the URSM, the members, the board, the advisory council, the party council, I want to thank you out of our heart that you give us this opportunity to be in contact with the people of St. Martin. And as I said already, people of St. Martin, the future of this country is in your hands in the upcoming elections. Make use of your right, your democratic right to vote, and mandate the right people to take care of your business. Thank you very much, and may God bless you in St. Martin.
And thank you, Doctor. I wish you much
Welcome.
success, all right?
Thank you very much.
And that's Oral Gibbs Live for now. We'll see you next time. Till then, take care. Bye.